the first phase of the, when you meet somebody for the first time, the first component of that is you have to build a relationship with them. You have to, what I would say is the first phase of that relationship is what we call relate. When we talk about relating, there's things that are going on there. It's the get to know you session. I tell people a lot, even though I've been married for 28 years, I would tell you that, I don't know about dating, but when you're in the dating game and you're doing that kind of stuff, what you really want to know is you want to find out about people. So what you're doing is you really, it's all, what I would tell you is, in this situation, it's all about them. And this is the opportunity where you don't really want to talk about yourself, you want to talk about them, you want to find out about them. And this is the personal them. If I was meeting Adam for the first time or Eric for the first time, it would be a conversation. It's like, Adam, tell me about you, tell me about your business. And these would be, not quite that direct, but we'd be very open and honest and say, let's have a chat. And I don't want to get into, I wouldn't want to get into, in this situation, the things about me or my business or what I'm doing, because I'm really trying to find out things about them that are very, very important. Their values, I listen for things about value system, things about family, things about stress at work. I'm just listening, kind of get like how they talk about themselves, how they measure the things that are important. And that's really what I do here to build a relationship. By doing that, if you've ever talked about neuro-linguistic programming, when people talk to you more and you let them, get them talking to you more, and they're talking more and more, and you're asking open-ended questions and you're getting more information, the person that's talking to you actually feels like they're talking to somebody that's like you, because you've never given them any other indication that to the contrary. So the more they talk, the more they think they're talking to somebody like themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's very important. At the end of the day, they go, "Wow, I really like Dave, man. We seem to hit it off." Well, Dave didn't say anything. But the beauty of it is that they got that impression that Dave and I connected, and so that's really important. So building the relationship is extremely important. So the first piece is the relate. Right behind it, and almost at the same time in that first meeting, is what we would call something, and it sounds similar, but it's different, is learn. Beautiful handwriting, I need to go back to school. But when we talk about learning is now, we're going to dive down to the next level. I've talked to the person, kind of got a feel for who they are and what they are all about. Now let's drill down and let's learn a little bit about their business. The things that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, the stresses that they're feeling in their day-to-day business, things that their bosses or their leadership are driving through the organization, and we start to learn. And what I'd like to say here is these are the things where we're going to start to explore, and also we're going to qualify. Because if we get into a point where we hear that there's a business opportunity, then we need to start qualifying that business opportunity. We don't know yet what's going on in this business. Even if it's an existing account, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, what they feel, what they see, what they're experiencing from their chair, we don't know what's in their head yet. So we don't know for sure that we know what's going on. So this is where we spend some time and we explore and we qualify. I like to say that when I'm meeting with somebody for the first time, I start out with a blank sheet of paper. Even if I know what's going on in their business, I've read about it in the paper, or somebody's referred me to them and has given me a lot of background, I try to put that out of my mind, in the back of my mind at the least, and start out with a blank sheet of paper and say, I'm going to learn from scratch all the things I need to know about these people. Later on, as things start to develop, say, oh yeah, there's something, I remember hearing that, we're allowed to bring it forward. But I don't bring it forward to start, because I want to start with a clean sheet of paper. I want to have people have an opportunity to tell me what I need to know, not me assume that I already know or take that chance that I already know. So that when you're in the learning mode, that's when you start to explore and qualify. And when we qualify, if you go through a meeting and all you find out is that there's a lot of opportunities to stay connected, to grow, to build a stronger relationship, you can eject from the meeting at any point in time. If you hear that there's an opportunity, then you can pursue further and go into the things where you find out about what's the opportunity, what's the scope, who's the decision maker, what's the budget, what's the timing. Now, this is not the part of today's talk, but if you notice, I had like 5 things that say, what's qualified, what's the opportunity, what's the timing, what's the scope, who's the decision maker, what's the budget. That's a qualified opportunity. Minus those 5 things, you have some kind of defined opportunity. It's not qualified. You can't build a strategy with like 2 or 3 pieces of a 5-piece puzzle. So remember, if you're going to qualify an account, you start hearing there's an opportunity. Remember, scope, opportunity, decision maker, timing, budget. Let me say it one more time.
Yes.
Scope, need, your scope or opportunity, decision maker, timing, budget. Have those 5 pieces of information, you have a qualified opportunity. You have a qualified, something. You can sit down with a team of people, Adam, Jackie, Murray, Gigi, Dave, whoever you want to sit down with, your sales team, your designers, you can sit down and say, okay, now here's what's going on, let's build a strategy around it. Anyway, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but that's, that'd be a whole other discussion on what to do with a qualified opportunity. But the purpose of Relate and Learn is to use open-ended questions to find out as much as you can about the business and as much as you can about the people and what's going on in their business. And I always say that down the road, next, and I don't encourage people to do this in the first sales meeting when you're meeting somebody for the first time. That's why these two are very closely linked. But the last piece is, way over here, is what I would call solve. And this is where I could say, okay, it's about us or me, however you want to talk about it. So if I was sitting here and having a meeting with somebody and I hear a lot of great things, the thing I would say to them to close the meeting is, hey Eric, you talked about a lot of things here that were really, that really intrigued me or of interest to me. And I heard you talk about A, B, C, and D, and you list them. You play back the need, the opportunity, the urgency, the interest. I have some ideas that I'd like to share with you that might be of interest to you in the future. But before I talk to you about them, what I want to do is I want to go back to the office, sit down with my team, think about it, organize my thought, and come share with you how I think we can actually better address those things and deal with those things. What you're showing is you're showing them an interest in learning about them and not this overdriving or overriding passion to quick tell them, I can't wait to tell you all about me. You save that. That's something that you have in your arsenal. So you save that for the next meeting, and then you come back and you can have that talk and say, let me tell you what I heard, let me tell you what we think about that, let me tell you how we can help. It shows that you've internalized all that stuff. It shows a passion and a commitment to the relationship and not this overwhelming desire just to try to find a way to sell them something. Because selling is just, when you try to do that, just sell them something, that's transactional based. What we want to do is we want to be relationship based. We're connecting with these people for the long haul. And to connect with them for the long haul, there's 3 components, and this is really, really important. But it's not as important as making sure you've established the foundation up front. So when you get down to here, then you go into solve, you play back what you heard, you play back what the drivers were, and then you list for them the things that you think you can do to help them.